A tremendously emotional moment. A crescendo of cheers as he came into the Standard Bank Arena, into the ring, the world champion, Dingaan Thobela, 5 years in isolation. And now the champ can stand very proudly in the ring here. And this really is a great moment. We know, of course, that Dingaan Thobela, as a champion, has enormous talent in those hands. He's got tremendous hand speed. He moves around that ring so well. The talent really is enormous. Well, it's time now to see the officials for this fight. The WBO, of course, are in the chair, and they have their own rules. Now let's see the officials.
My name is Steve Smoger. I'm the referee for this evening's contest. This will be my 26th world title, and it's a pleasure to be here and referee in South Africa. I have refereed 2 other South African champions in the country of Italy, so it's a pleasure to finally work in a champion's homeland.
Yes, I've judged well over 50 world title fights, and proud and happy to be here in South Africa.
Oh yes, my name is Henry Mühlmott von Germany in Dinslaken und Judge for your Kampf Thobela gegen Rivera.
My name is Horacio Bacamon from the Dominican Republic. I went to judge tonight the championship WBO at Dingaan Thobela Antonio Rivera.
The IBF Junior Featherweight Champion is sitting here with me in our studio, our Top Sports studio at the Standard Bank Arena. Welcome, Nkita. Great to have you here. And as a world champion, what is Dingaan Thobela going through at this moment in time now as champion stepping into this ring?
Well, there's lots of things going on Dingaan's mind right now. Things like what is he going to do? I mean, how is he going to handle the fight? And the most one is that he's fighting in front of his friends and fans for the first time. You know, that's...
This normally is a tremendous stimulant to have your own people screaming for you as opposed to foreigners.
Right. But at the same time, it's got that part of disadvantage, or that you get a little bit tense. You know, you get more cautious than than it is needed in the ring. You know,
you've got to show your best.
Yeah, but what I can, if I were Dingaan, I would be cool, calm and collective and enjoy the fight. That's the main, for me, that's the most thing.
Looking at them both in the dressing room, did you get any kind of feeling, as one often gets a feeling about a fight when you look at them, whether they're sweating, whether they're relaxed?
Well, there's a lot of things, like I said, there's a lot of things. You don't know what's going to happen there in the ring. You don't know what's going to be knocked. You're afraid of being knocked down in front of you. Like I say, it's a little bit of disadvantage fighting at home because you don't want to disgrace your friends and fans, you know. So there's a lot of things going on in my mind. That's why I say all you got to do is to be collective, to be calm, and to overcome that thing of pressure and be cool.
And of course, Dingaan must watch out for this big banger who is known for knocking people out, and those on the way to titles and those doing well.
Well, seeing according to his record, is a banger indeed. He's a knockout specialist. He's got more knockouts than winning on points, of which if I were Dingaan, I would be cool, like I say. I'll watch him for the first 5 rounds and then come back after 6, 7, 8 rounds.
It's great to have you here with us, and we know you'll be fighting, putting your title on the line again against Sugar Baby Rogers. We wish you well at Sun City at the end of the month.
Thank you.
In the meantime, let's get back now to the weigh-in, and there's been lots of talk about the weigh-in. Just how serious was this weight situation with Dingaan Thobela?
That's a satisfied enough look from champion of the world, Dingaan Thobela. But he's had weighty problems this week, over and above those posed by his challenger tonight, Antonio Rivera. He made headline news on Wednesday by coming in over 2 kilograms over the lightweight limit of 61.24 kilos at a check weigh-in. That after keeping both the media and Rivera waiting for more than an hour and a half. So questions have been raised as to just how effective his 2-week stay at his Barberton Prison Farm training camp had been to curb excesses. Thobela scoffed at talk of a weight problem. He claimed he'd been playing mind games with Rivera. Not that the Puerto Rican seemed troubled by the hoo-ha. He was fractionally over the limit on Wednesday. If Thobela had to pull weight, all the better for him.
Yes, and my information during the last day or so has been that Dingaan has shed no weight. They can go in for those early weigh-ins and they can be wearing anything, and I can assure you there's nothing wrong with Dingaan's weight. Let's have a look at the tail of the tape and see these two fine fighters that match each other here tonight. Look at the age. There's just 3 years in it, and the weight there, a slightly heavier challenger. The height in Dingaan's favor, the reach in Antonio. The chest, well, that's not expanded. And look at the record of Dingaan Thobela. He's fought 26 times. He's won 25. He's unbeaten with 1 draw. 15 KOs. The true Rose of Soweto, and the crowd are really getting worked up now. Antonio Rivera, affectionately known as Tonito, which is a little baby Antonio. Fights 32, he's won 24 of those. He's lost 7, drawn 1. 20 knockouts, so he can go down and he can knock them down. Let's join our 2 commentators, Bert Blewett and Dion Leroux.
Ja, ons sê vir die goeienaand hier vanaf die kruit. Dit is by ons waar hierdie ongelooflike aksie binnekort gaan plaasvind. Dit is, soos Martin gesê het, werklik waar 'n groot eer om vanaand weer wêreldboks in Suid-Afrika terug te verwelkom. Saam met my, soos jy gehoor het, is Bert Blewett. Bert, maybe a comment on what we can expect of this fight, thinking that maybe the last performance of Dingaan in South Africa wasn't all what we expected.
Well, this is Dingaan's moment of truth in many ways. He's going to have to pull out all the stops tonight because he's up against a banger for perhaps the first time in his career. And the big questions that we need to be answered here this evening: can Dingaan take the punches of Rivera, withstand that power and still win the fight? Will he be able to keep the Puerto Rican on the end of his punches and unleash those uppercuts and right crosses that we know so well from the champion? These are the big questions that need to be answered, and question time has arrived. Let's go up to the ring.
Ja, die stem van Bert Blewett, en dit gee vir ons geleentheid om by die groot geveg te kom.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the main event of the evening. This is a fight over 12 rounds for the WBO World Lightweight title. On my right, the #1 challenger, wearing black, weighing in at 61.10 kilograms. He's had 31 fights for 23 wins, 7 losses, and 1 draw. Let's welcome the #1 challenger from Puerto Rico, Antonio Tonito Rivera. Ladies and gentlemen, on my left, wearing green and white, weighing in at 60.90 kilograms, a record of 26 fights, 25 wins, 1 draw, the WBO lightweight champion of the world, Dingaan, the Rose of Soweto, Thobela, Dingaan, Thobela. Ladies and gentlemen, your WBO supervisor is Dr. Raymond Pino Acevedo. The ringside doctors are Dr. Fonseil Pretorius and Dr. Joe Javu. The judges from the Dominican Republic, Mr. Horacio Bacamon. From the USA, Mr. John Stewart. And from Germany, Herr Heinrich Mümmert. Your referee from the USA, Steve Smoger.
All right, gentlemen, you're giving your instructions at the weigh-in. Protect yourself at all times, obey my command at all times. And I want to count this a lawful shot, Norman. That's a little high. I want to count that as a lawful shot.
Same there.
Same there. No problem. Let's rock. Let's go. Touch him up. Come back. Tony. Tonito. Suerte. That's it. Buena suerte. Okay.
Al die voorstellings is gedoen. En die geveg gaan aanvang neem. Skeieregter meneer Steve Smoger. Wat die laaste bevele gee, en hier kom die begin van die eerste ronde. Rivera 61,01 kilogram, Thobela 60,09.
And you might have heard Steve Smoger tell Thobela's camp that his trunks are a little on the high side, and he won't necessarily consider a punch below that belt line as being low.
Vroeg in hierdie ronde voel. Daar's nie werklik een skoonhou nog geplant tot dusver nie. Rivera wat vroeg so 'n bietjie vasgeval het.
Well, both men boxing out of an upright stance. That's usually Thobela's style. You can expect Rivera to open up any minute now, sizing up his man, but you notice backing away from the champion all the time.
Rivera se groot gevaarwapen is die regter en die linker. Is bekend daarvoor dat hy baie hard slaan.
A tentative jab from Thobela. He will need to keep Rivera on the end of those punches.
En Rivera wat daar wou kom met die linker opstoppertjie uit hom op die laaste oomblik bedink. Maar ons het ook nog nie die reguit linker van Thobela gesien waar agter hy boks nie. Hy stoot so 'n bietjie nou met hom, maar 'n baie rustige voelronde vir die begin van hierdie wêreldtitelgeveg in die liggewig afdeling van die wêreldboksorganisasie.
Yeah, this has been very much a reconnaissance round for both men. No real punches landed yet, but a good one from Rivera, beginning to open up here as he backs Thobela against the ropes, but the champion very calm, very cool, very collected.
Bietjie meer houe wat nou geplant word deur albei boksers. Maar 'n geesdriftige skare in die Standard Bank Arena, Johannesburg, waar hierdie geveg vanaand beslis word. Vroeger gesê Dingaan Thobela miskien in sy vorige geveg in die Momentum Arena daar in Pretoria klein bietjie teleurgestel, maar hy het gedoen wat nodig was, die geveg gemaklik gewen. Toe hy daar geboks het teen Amancio Castro. Maar vanaand dink ek kan ons ander Thobela hier verwag, want sy titel is op die spel en hy wil hom bitter graag behou.
Lots of lateral movement coming from Thobela as this round winds down, but very few punches from the champion here in round one.
Let him out, Tonito, let him out. Good.
Die einde van ronde nummer 1. Geveg in 'n goeie gees afgespeel tot dusver toe. En van die wyle gaan ons terug na die ateljee in Johannesburg.
First, there was the longbow that hit the target but missed the spot. Now there's a new generation. Crossbow. Crisp, fresh tasting. Crossbow cider hits the spot every time. Crossbow cider, the thirst buster.
Back to the World Championship Showdown with Crossbow, the cider.
Eers terug saam met ons in die Standard Bank Arena. Dingaan Thobela aan sy hoek. Eerste ronde was 'n verkenningsronde. En nou die tweede.
And between rounds, Lala Medina instructed Rivera to go to the body, but to keep his hands up at all times. And you notice straight away he's following those instructions, pushing out that jab to head and body.
Een van Thobela se groot kentekens is natuurlik sy oë wat op sy teenstander gefestig bly sonder dat hy omtrent 'n oog knip. Hy hou hom dop elke sekonde van die geveg. En dit is een van sy eienskappe wat op tot dusver baie goed gehelp het met die suksesse wat hy behaal het.
Rivera beginning to let that right hand go. Thobela managed to slip inside the punch twice now. He's going to have to be careful. Lots of power behind those punches coming from Rivera.
Get out yourself, get out,
Van daai was teen die elleboog vas gewees. Thobela se verdediging wat gehou het, maar hy was in die hoek gewees. En dit is miskien goed dat hy so vinnig as moontlik daar uitgekom het.
Good to see Thobela trying to use the left hook and the uppercut. He needs to mix up his punches well. And he really does need to try and break Rivera's rhythm and range.
Maar reguit linkertjie van Thobela het deurgedring op die punt van die neus van Rivera, maar daar was nie baie krag agter nie.
Well, that uppercut caught Rivera high on the forehead. Didn't quite catch him on the button, and that was the intention, but look at Rivera come back. Both men looking to use the uppercut on the inside.
Hierdie geveg wat beslis word oor 12 rondes. Na hierdie ronde bly daar nog 'n volle 10 oor. En dan speel hy van Thobela. Rivera teen die toue. En hy sal met daar weg beweeg. Nou begin die linkers. Die linkers van Thobela 'n bietjie werk.
A much better round for Thobela. Picking up his work rate. Punches beginning to score to head and body. Clearly the champion is warming to his task.
Ons is samen Dingaan Thobela.
Just relax, easy. Dame en juego.
Eso es.
Dame en juego.
Ja, ons kan dadelijk vir u sê, ons het die baie bekende boksafrigter wat ook vroeger betrokken was by Brian Mitchell, meneer Carlos Giacomo saam met ons, en hy gaan vir ons sê wat precies in die hoek gesê word van Rivera.
Let's go.
Well, Rivera's corner were evidently telling the boxer that he'll come and play your game. Just play a waiting game in the meantime. And let's see what he's going to do. It looks as though Rivera's found his range, beginning to pump out that left jab. That could be the punch that could upset Rivera's rhythm. And it surely has. We are in the opening seconds of round 3.
Die reguit linkers van Dingaan Thobela wat definitief begin werk. Hy is deurentyd bewus van wat sy teenstander doen. Baie beweging. Hy is bekend daarvoor, Dingaan Thobela. Maar dan kry hy toch daar 'n goeie linker ook van Rivera. Eerste keer in 10 jaar dat ons hier 'n man het dat sy titel verdedig. En die eerste keer in 5 jaar 'n wêreldtitelgeveg. Dat was 'n goeie regter wat Dingaan Thobela betref het.
Well, that was possibly the first real punch that Rivera landed, that right to the jaw. Caught Thobela a glancing punch, and the champion took it very well indeed. Look at Thobela counter, driving back Rivera. This is a much sharper Thobela we've seen here in the ring tonight. His world title is at stake, and he means to retain it. Looking very, very good indeed. Here in the opening rounds of this championship fight. Barraging with both hands. Trying the uppercut, but not quite connecting.
Die skare wat begin saampraat, maar dis die kombinasies van Dingaan Thobela wat tref. Hy kry 2 kort linkertjie daarvan, maar dan tref hy ook met 'n goeie reguit linker. Minder as 'n minuut wat oorbly. En die kort regter. Rivera daai oor gevoel. Geen twyfel daaroor nie. Dingaan Thobela op die oorlogpad. Koordinasie nie heeltemal daar nie, ekskuus Bert. Van Rivera, sy houe wat nie tref nie, hy slaan mis.
I'm here.
Well, Thobela caught Rivera with some very good shots on the inside. Challenger took them well. And still it's Thobela who's letting his punches go. Rivera trying again and again to catch Thobela with that uppercut or the left hook as he comes in.
Goeie rechter het Thobela daar getref aan die einde van die ronde.
Good.
En vir die oomblik is ons weer terug by die ateljee in Johannesburg.
First, there was the longbow that hit the target but missed the spot. Now there's a new generation. Crossbow. Crisp, fresh tasting. Crossbow cider hits the spot every time. Crossbow cider. The thirst buster.
Back to the World Championship Showdown with Crossbow, the cider.
Ja, die atmosfeer nog steeds elektries gelaai hier in die Standard Bank Arena. Dis die begin van ronde nommer 4. Dingaan Thobela wat hier boks voor sy eie mense. Hy het groot ondersteuning en hy het 'n goeie derde ronde agter die blad.
Tremendous excitement here in the Standard Bank Arena, and the crowd burst into song between rounds, encouraging Thobela to open up, and he's responding.
Rivera daai hou gevoel. Hy bly hang aan die arm van Dingaan Thobela. En hy besef hy het 'n baie goeie hou ontvang.
Thobela quite content to box off the back foot. Lots of lateral movement, making very good use of this ring here this evening. And all the time luring the challenger to come in, waiting to unleash that right hand.
Albei boksers wat daar goed getref het, maar Rivera se kop het so 'n bietjie meer geruk as die een van Thobela. Teen die handskoen vas, die regter. Die skare wat baie opgewonde raak. Sodra Dingaan Thobela begin slaan, maar hier waar ons sit net so 1,5 meter van waar die manne boks. Is dit nou en dan die houe wat nie heeltemal skoon tref nie.
Well, that right hand clearly hurt Rivera, forced him to hold momentarily. Very good shot from Thobela.
Hey, don't punch.
Skeieregter baie vinnig tussen beide om die manne uitmekaar uit te hou.
Let him out, Tonito. Let him out. You too, Rose. Let him out.
Dingaan Thobela se linkers wat definitief goed werk. Elke nou en dan volg dit met die regter op.
Punch out.
Well, as you can see, Rivera works best on the inside, relying heavily on those uppercuts and hooks. And it's up to Thobela to keep him on the end of his punches. And a good left hook from Thobela, and a right. Well, here's some replay from that fourth round, and you can see Thobela getting his shots through Rivera's guard, hooking on the inside. Look at that good uppercut. Terrific shots from Thobela, but Rivera took him well. Well, here we are at the start of round 5, and on our card, Thobela has established a clear points lead. The champion looking very, very sharp here this evening. He's withstood the best punches that Rivera has been able to throw so far. And as you can see, still making very good use of this ring. Lots of lateral movement from Thobela, using that left jab to set up the challenger.
As 'n meer aggressiewe Rivera nou ewe skielik. Hy het eintlik so vorentoe gespring. Om in daar die linker opstopper voor 'n dag te kom, maar dit was mis geweest. Nou weer sy linker wat daar deurdring Rivera.
Thobela picking off Rivera with that jab, but the pace has slowed momentarily, you might notice. That jab is keeping Rivera on the outside, and I think he wants to really be on the inside so he can unleash those hooks and uppercuts.
Hy het gelei met 'n goeie reguit regter en toe die kombinasie daarna.
Get out yourself, get out. Come on, work out of there. Go ahead, punch out, punch, punch. That's it. That's it. Let him out, Rose. Let him out. You too, Tonito.
Oh, en Dingaan Thobela te baie lekker, hy's neer. Hy daai ou gevoel amper neer. Hy het gestruikel. Sy neus bloei, daai linker het hom verskriklik hard getref van Antonio Rivera. Die opstappers is daar nou van Rivera, hy het bloed geruik. En daar's 'n goeie regter.
Thobela in desperate trouble, but look at him come back. There is the courage of a champion. Still Thobela in a daze, but he's holding on, trying to fight back. And this is Rivera's big chance to pull out all the stops and win the title inside the distance. But Thobela's got him pinned against those ropes, smothering his punches on the inside.
Thobela wat so 'n bietjie gebruik maak van daardie feit dat Rivera teen die toue is om te rus. Twee goeie regters van Thobela.
Thobela has come out of the fog, and there's the bell ending the round.
Hier is die ouwe wat saak gemaak het. Kom ons kyk daarna.
Thobela was forcing Rivera back, as you can see, driving punches between these gloves. When he was hit with that left hook, staggered Thobela, followed by the right, and the champion almost went down as he tried to grab and clinch.
Yeah, he's all right.
Ducked beneath some of those shots, and then finally managed to get Rivera. Round 6, scheduled for 12.
Na hierdie ronde sal die geveg halfpad wees. Maar dit was die wêreldkampioen wat so byna op die kruisvloer beland het in die vorige ronde. En dan is dit weer Rivera wat net die handskoene voorhou.
Punch out, punch out. Hands are loose.
Thobela wat sy man teen die toue hou en met die kombinasies probeer, maar hy's baie slimmer Rivera. Hy hou daar die arms en handskoene voor en hy hou tref nie een van Thobela nie.
Thobela threading Rivera's guard, ripping punches through that double-handed defense of the challenger. Thobela knows now just how dangerous Rivera is, and I'm sure he would like to end this fight as quickly as possible, because Rivera could still pull it out in the late round. He has the punching power to do that.
Nou, die linkers van Thobela wat weer begin deurbeweeg.
I'm here. Good, clean. Come on, walk out, walk out, walk out.
Maar ek geveg wat teen 'n geweldige tempo beslis word. Geen twyfel daaroor nie. Die lyfhoue van Rivera.
Well, I see a trickle of blood coming from Rivera's eye, and I suspect it must be cut either the bridge of the nose or the eye, the left eye. Good uppercut from Thobela. Snaps back Rivera's head.
Goeie rechter, wat hy na die linker geplant het, Dingaan Thobela. Rivera het dit gevoel.
I'm here. Let him out. Let out when I say out. Let him out.
And you can understand why Rivera is forced to hold. Those punches really hurt him. Thobela has picked up his pace. Once again, lots of lateral movement from the champion. Waiting for the right opportunity to let his punches go.
Step. Let out, step out.
Rivera wat probeer het met die rechter, maar het was mis.
You're loose.
Thobela het hom baie vinnig
Let
gesien.
him out, Rose. Let him out, Tonita.
Byna aan die einde van hierdie ronde.
Back to the World Championship Showdown with Crossbow, the cider.
Die terug saam met ons in die Standard Bank Arena. Die 7de ronde gaan binne 'n paar sekondes aanbreek.
Bien profundo, ¿eh? Quédate respirando bien profundo. 7, halfway home. Vamos. Respira profundo, ¿no? Respira, muñeca. Vamos. Respira, vamos. Meta uno.
Well, as we suspected, working on that cut on Rivera's left eye. Are they concerned about that, Carlos?
Well, yes, it doesn't look that it's a bad cut, but for the last 2 rounds, the corner is very concerned about that cut. In fact, they don't give Rivera so many instructions. They are just looking after that cut.
Daar die gehoor, hulle is bekommerd oor daardie sny by die linker oog van Rivera.
Thank you. Watch the corner, water.
Die skeieregter wat nie tevrede is met die water in die hoek hier van Antonio Rivera nie. Lalo Medina, die africhter van Antonio Rivera, wat die water opdroog.
Well, Rivera's corner has done a very good job on that cut. I don't see any blood trickling at all. They've sealed the cut.
Hey, don't punch.
And whatever game plan they have, they've obviously worked out beforehand, because they're not giving Rivera any real instructions between rounds. Thobela using the left jab to try and keep Rivera at bay, pumping out that left hand. slashing with the right.
En Dingaan Thobela wat redelijk goed herstel het nadat hy daai harde houe ontvang het 2 rondes gelede.
Push off, push off. Okay. Okay? Okay, no, it's okay. Okay, let's go. Very good.
Scheidsrechter wat die vet uitstekend hanteer. Hier Steve Smoger. Praat die hele tyd met die manne. Beveel hulle wat om te doen.
Well, there's lots of water in both these corners, and as you probably noticed a moment ago, Thobela slipped in his own, lost his footing momentarily. Both boxes are saturated with water.
You're free, you're free.
Thobela wat weer 'n linker op sy neus kry en daar die neus bloei.
Break.
Yes, there's a trickle of blood from Thobela's nose. And that's testimony to those long shots of Rivera, which are beginning to get through once again.
Come here. Step out, Tony. Go step out. Don't punch, Tony. Step back, Chan. Step back.
Peter, what do you make of this fight so far?
Well, Dingaan is still leading by 3 rounds to 2 because that first one I gave it as a draw. But I'm afraid because Dingaan is not the Dingaan that I know. He looks a little bit fatigued of now late, and he seems sometimes not fighting the right fight. He's fighting this guy. He should be boxing this guy. He should be working the body of the guy so that the guy will lose the strength.
His strategy seems strange here.
That's what I mean. It's as if, I don't know what I'm going to say, but what I'm going to tell you is not the one that I know.
Should be moving more.
He should be not necessarily moving more. He should be steady side by side and then throwing punches, throwing more special to the body.
Die eerste ronde wat begin. Vinnige aanval, geluk deur Antonio Rivera.
Well, it looks as though Rivera means business. He's come out fast here at the start of the 8th round.
Let him out, Rose.
Staying on the inside, that's where he unleashes those big bombs. Thobela needs to keep him at bay with that jab. And all the time, Thobela backing away. Starting off the back foot.
Step out. Don't grab the rope. Come on. Okay.
Thobela using lateral movement to try and confuse the challenger. Doesn't want to give him a stationary target.
I'm here.
Dit is natuurlijk waarvoor Dingaan Thobela bekend is. Die sywaartse beweging. Bly in die pad van die gevaarlike houe en hy hou deurentyd sy teestander dop. Sy reguit linkers wat weer beweeg.
Well, we've hardly seen a right hand from Thobela so far in this round. It's been just a succession of left jabs.
You lose.
And Rivera, who started so well, has lost a lot of the initiative. Good right hand from Thobela as Rivera came in, forcing the challenger to hold.
Ja, hy het definitief 'n bietjie vasgehou. Die skeieregter moes tussen beide tree. Hy het hom gevoel, Rivera.
Step out. Come on.
Thobela wat nou met die combinaties voor een dag komt, zijn neus wat nog een beetje bloed aan heeft. Albei boxers daar getref. Einde van die ronde, ronde nummer 8. Volgende ronde is nummer 9. Maar het was Dingaan Thobela wat met een goede rechter getref het.
Bien profundo ahora.
En die vorige ronde.
Bien profundo. Ok. Por favor, Antonio, break. Está bien. Gracias, gracias.
Well, we have the replay from the 8th round, and you can see Rivera catching Thobela with a long right and a left hook to the jaw. But quite cleverly, Thobela wrapped his arms around the challenger and held on for dear life. More replay from an overhead camera. Good right hand from Rivera, and there's a left hook driving Thobela back towards the ropes.
Norman Slabane en ook als africhter en bestuurder van Dingaan Thobela.
Water.
Scheidsrechter weer niet tevreden met die water hier in die hoek van Antonio Rivera niet, dat is baie nat.
So the corners really are soaked and make it be highly dangerous if the boxers slip on this water. They could injure themselves. But both men are saturated. Their trunks are absolutely dripping with water.
Hij rechter is er van die handschoen afgekomen, maar hij heeft toch die kanker van Rivera getreft.
Carlos Giacomo, our interpreter, tells me that between rounds, Rivera was complaining about one of his legs and they had a massage that. And now Rivera's rocked by right hand.
Die sparen je later samen Dingaan Thobela als hij naar die combinaties voor een dag komt. Daar was de goede rechter van Thobela. Maar Thobela wat zelf weer krijgt.
Well, Rivera was stung into action there as Thobela kept putting the pressure on. The challenger came back with a big right hand of his own.
Tommy, step out. Come on. Okay.
Combinatie daar. Trek.
Good, I'm here.
12 seconden is dat doorblijft.
Some good shots from the champion. Stopping Rivera in his tracks, and as you can see, this water is causing Thobela to slip.
Very good.
Highly dangerous.
Clean up the corner. Jesus. Hey, I'm here.
Scheidsrechter wat bij ongelukkig is door die water nog steeds in de hoek. Van Antonio Rivera. Buiten beeld worden teruggemaakt hier recht voor ons.
Let go, Tony. Oh, come on. No. My friend, you must clean the corner. Please, thank you. Okay, Jeff. I got it in there now. Breathe easy, Chad.
scoring to the head, both with the left and the right, driving Rivera back, got him against the ropes, and then goes beneath the challenger as he himself holds.
Die 10e ronde. En is 10, 11 en 12 wat oorblijft.
And between rounds, Rivera's corner instructed him to pick up his punch rate. They've instructed him to go all out in these last 2 rounds to try and pull this fight out of the fire. He's behind on points on our card, substantially by 5 points. And I think the corner knows that as well.
Thobela wat niet terugstaan hier, hij doet wat nodig is. Goeie combinaties. Rivera teen die touwen en hy moet daar uitkom.
A barrage of punches from Thobela. Thobela has Rivera trapped against the rope, trying to get through that guard, but not quite reaching him with those punches. And forced to hold himself.
Get out, let's go.
Geleide atmosfeer in die Standardbank Arena. Die skare bankvast soos een man agter Dingaan Thobela. En dit moet in sy gunst stel.
Well, this fight has been fought at a very brisk pace indeed. So if the men show signs of weariness, you can understand why. And that left eye of Rivera beginning to close.
Come on, you guys are fine. Let's go, Rose. Step out.
Rivera's corner advised him to pick up his punch rate, but he looks a very tired young man to me.
Hy lyk definitief meer verweer as Dingaan Thobela. Sy linker oog die gee hom probleme, want hy's besig om toe te swel. Dit is waar die sny is. Combinatie was daar geweest, maar die baie goed getref van Dingaan Thobela.
Rivera needs to be on the inside to be effective, and Thobela keeping him out with that left jab.
All right, guys, let's rock. Come on. You're both laying in there. Come on.
A tangle of arms and gloves, and now Rivera trying to break loose. And it's Thobela who's picking him off with that left jab.
Okay, Rose, step out. Tonito, por favor. Come on. Okay, Bell.
Die einde van die ronde en ons gaan besoek aflê in Rivera se hoek saam met Carlos Giacomo.
Bien profundo ahora. Watch him on piece. Hold him on piece.
Well, the corner is just...
Carlos, what are they telling Rivera in the corner now?
Very little instruction coming from Rivera's corner. This is very surprising, especially at this stage of the fight. He's keeping just telling him to breathe very deeply, and that is all. It's almost the only thing that is coming from Rivera's corner.
So there's no real instructions being given.
Not really instruction, and this is what really surprised me, because from time to time he only said to him to work and to work harder. That is all.
Thank you.
Hierdie geveg het baie vinnig gevorder tot by die tweede laaste ronde. Een goeie geest tussen die twee mannen. Weer met die handskoene teen mekaar gestamp voor die begin van hierdie ronde. Dit is nie nodig nie, maar die geveg het in 'n baie goeie geest beslis word.
Well, Rivera has fallen steadily behind on points. He needs a knockout to pull out this fight. He's got the power to do it, but it might be Thobela who scores the knockout.
Zeker die beste rechter van die gevecht wat ons nou gesien het van Thobela. Baie skoon getref. Thobela weer eens met die sywaartse beweging, maar daar slaag om uit die pad van die houe van Rivera te kom.
Rivera trying to trap Thobela against the ropes, but the champion is far too elusive for him. Slipping this way and that, and then clinching when he gets on the inside, as you can see. Well, that's a surprising move on Thobela's part. He just decided to move in and hold. Seemed to lose the whole pattern of what he wanted to do. But now, once again, he's pumping out that jab.
Dick, I'm here. Come on.
I think he's beginning to feel the pace as well, Dion.
Ja, ek dink ek stem saam met jou, Bert. Maar die linker oog van Rivera moet vir hom 'n bron van kommer wees. Zijn rechteropstopper. En dis houe wat groot punte brengt van Dingaan Thobela.
Let him out. Quick, I'm here. Step, come on.
Thobela trying to pull Rivera off balance, you might notice.
Secondes wat oorblijft van die tweede laatste ronde.
Rivera looking to his corner for advice, but they don't give him advice between rounds. And what he really needs to do, of course, is to throw punches. That's the only way he's going to win this fight. He needs to score a knockout.
Bell.
Rivera's linker oog bijna toe. Thobela wat met die rechtervuis die teken gee vir sy ondersteuners om te sê ek is 'n beheer. Ons kyk na daardie rechteropstopper van Dingaan Thobela. Daar kom hy, dit was 'n uitstekende hou geweest van Dingaan Thobela. Dit was later in die ronde geweest. Maar vroeër was daar ook goeie houe.
Well, that, of course, is Dingaan's favorite punch, that uppercut, and he really caught Rivera bang on the button.
Good sip, right? 3 more minutes and you're still the champion. 3 fucking minutes. Don't get involved, right?
Well, with the clock winding down, Rivera's corner have told the challenger to keep throwing punches. That's his only chance.
En so begin die laaste ronde van hierdie wêreldtitelgevecht tussen Dingaan Thobela en Antonio Rivera. 3 minute sê hulle vir hom. Dit is vir die roos van Soweto. En as jy dit deurstaan, gaan jy nog die kampioen wees. Hy het baie goed gebokst vanaand.
Thobela far ahead on points on our card. Rivera needs to score a knockout to win this fight.
Kom net wie sê, sodra die uitslag van hierdie gevecht bekend gemaak is, net vir 'n wyle gaan ons dan terug ateljee toe, maar dan kan die aansluit vir onderhoude met albei boksers weer by ons hier in die Standard Bank Arena. So daar sal definitief na afloop van die gevecht onderhoude wees. Rivera, ek weet nie of hy meer gegly het nie, ek glo nie die skeieregter gaan tel nie.
Don't pull his head down. Okay, come on.
Skeieregter sê moenie sy kop aftrek nie, maar ek het die idee hy het 'n paar goeie houe ontvang.
Let's go, work.
En hy sê baie moe man.
Hey, don't punch.
Well, the referee did not rule that as a knockdown, as you've heard. He warned Thobela not to pull Rivera down by the back of the head instead.
Little bit to go.
Well, the time is running out. for Rivera. He needs a knockout desperately if he hopes to win this title here this evening. Thobela very far ahead on points on our card. And now we're seeing a little bit of showboating from the champion. He feels he can afford to give us a display of some of that flashy footwork, but he's got to be careful because one punch can turn this fight.
Come on, get it sloppy, guys. Come on, look it out. Getting sloppy with 100 to go. Don't get sloppy now. Come on.
Net 1 minuut bly oor. En Thobela wat nou die groep ondersteuners en die Standardbank Arena so 'n bietjie vergat.
Minute to go.
Ja, die bekende maniertjies van hom.
Thobela is chewing up the clock. He's quite happy to see these seconds slip away. The title is safe if he survives this 12th round.
Wait, come on, Antonio. Come on, Antonio.
The pressure is on Rivera to do something, and he's just not delivering.
Nee, Antonio Rivera het net nie die krag meer oor of die vermoë om iets te doen nie. Daai linkerkie het mooi getref. Dingaan Thobela op die neus, maar dit is te laat.
10 seconds, come on. Step away. Come on, that's it.
Einde van die geveg. Einde van die geveg. Dingaan Thobela, wat ek dink besef hy sy titel behou. Almal baie tevrede wat toeskouers aan betref dat Thobela hier goed geboks het. Hy is 'n gelukkige man, al met die afrigters. Die is daar om te kyk na die gesigte. Maar Dingaan Thobela gaan die kampioen bly.
Well, here's some replay from that last round, and you can see Thobela pushing down the head of Rivera, and of course, quite rightly, referee Steve Smoger did not rule that as an official knockdown. He warned Thobela instead. Now we're waiting for the official decision on our card. Thobela has won this by a substantial points margin. In fact, I've got him 8 points ahead. Rivera's only chance of pulling this fight out, and I think he knew it himself, and his corner knew it, was by knockout. And he simply couldn't put his punches together in that last round. This has been a good performance by Dingaan Thobela. He looked very sharp tonight, certainly much sharper than he did against Amancio Castro. And he was under pressure. We've learned something else about our champion, and that is that he can take a good solid shot to the jaw. There was always a big question mark about how he would react if he was hit solidly on the chin. Well, now we know. He fights back like a tiger. Clawed his way back into the fight and almost turned the tables on Rivera.
Dingaan Thobela wat net daar die eerste ronde gebruik het om sy teestander op te som, en van daar af het hy met baie goeie sywaartse bewegings daarin geslaag om die meeste van die aanvalle te neutraliseer wat geloods is deur Antonio Rivera. Later in die ronde was daar ook 'n snytjie aan Thobela se regter oog. Dit wil sê in hierdie laaste ronde is daar die oog gesny. Hy het gevee met die handskoen. Dit het hom nie gepla nie, maar die linker oog van Rivera is baie toegeswel en dit moes hom 'n bietjie geplaat deur hierdie geveg.
Well, Rivera's big chance came in the 5th round when he had Thobela in obvious trouble, but he just couldn't deliver. And from the 6th round onwards, the champion took over control and command. And we were waiting for Rivera to unleash that power again. He never quite managed to do it. He shook Thobela momentarily once or twice, but he never really caught him solidly after the 5th round. The champion was simply too good, both as an elusive opponent and a good defensive boxer. Well, you might see that Thobela's got a nick over that right eye. But Dingaan Thobela has boxed very, very well this evening. We're still waiting for the official decision.
Dit is net 'n kwessie van tyd. En aan die oorkant maak hulle gereed met die gordel. Skeieregter Steve Smoger.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a result for you. Judge John Stewart scores the fight 115-114.
1 punt verskil.
Judge Heinrich Vermer scores the fight 118-112. Judge Horatio Backerman scores the fight 117-112. A unanimous decision, and still WBO lightweight champion of the world, Dingaan Thobela.
Hy bly die wêreldkampioen van die WBO in die liggewig afdeling, Dingaan Thobela.
Well, that scoring looked a little strange, Dion, particularly 115, 114. The other two are pretty near the mark of 5 points and 6 points margins in favor of the champion. We had Thobela 8 points ahead on our unofficial card, and Thobela, quite rightly, jubilant and celebrating this moment of triumph.
Ja, die wêreldkampioen bly hy. Binnekort is ons terug saam met u en dan doen ons onderhoude in die onderskeie kleedkamers.
Ego is different. Ego is the deodorant cologne body spray for men to wear all over. Ego Deo Cologne Body Sprays. They're provocative. Ego, because first impressions last.
Ngeneqiniso lokuthi usuyazi ukuthi indlela okuyiyona yokuphuza i-Amstel ngendlela esiyiphisa ngayo ukuyiphuza
yohle eo ka e fumanang Paramed bohato bo tswetseng pele ho lwantsha mahlaba.
Still WBO world champion, lightweight champion. Goodness me, welcome Nkita with me here. Mixed feelings about the fight.
Well, it was a close fight according to me, and Dingaan did win it by 4 points according to my scorecards. But I would say he was not Dingaan that I know, but that's not important. What is important is to keep the title. He managed to keep it off, which that is good for us in South Africa to be with the title instead of leaving the title. I mean, let it go with the other guy. He managed to keep it, and he stand there in front of God while it was difficult, and he retained the title. That was his important.
The famous hand speed that we're so used to wasn't really there.
Like I said, he was nothing that I know. There was no sting in his punches. He was throwing the punches, but there was no sting. I know Dingaan can hit hard. He can hit hard. But to this fight, there was no sting to his punches. And one other thing, he seemed to fade at the later stage, of which that's another thing that I never saw to Dingaan when he's fighting. He's always in good shape. I mean, he's always in tip-top condition up until to the last round.
One could expect Antonio Rivera under this altitude. He's only been here a week. It would be no surprise to see him wilt.
Well, the guy, for Rivera, I would say he didn't fight. I mean, should he had, in the first round, should he had pressurized Thobela, he would have failed later. But unfortunately, he didn't. He just kept on and defending. He wasn't defending all through the fight, of which that helped him to be, to not to be a victim of the climate, you know. But according to Dingaan, if I were Dingaan, I would work on the body, just to to make him lose that strength, to make him tired.
Welcome, Incl. Thank you. Let's join the champion now. Dumila Mateza is with Dingaan Thobela.
Well, thank you, Martin. The champion is back here, defended his title successfully. And Dingaan, congratulations for retaining your title.
Thanks very much.
To what do you attribute your style of fighting?
Well, I'll say that guy, he was very, very tough for me. So, I just wanted to outbox him. Yes.
It was only in the fourth round that you got through with a big punch and you had him staggering back. Is that when you decided that this man can go back and you decided to pressure on?
Yeah, well, I tried to prove the pressure. He's too clever, too. He could run away if he get caught, too.
Earlier, I noticed that your nose was a little bit bleeding. Was that not giving you problems?
Well, it was not giving me problems. Just bleeding comes through, and then it didn't really disturb me.
On stage, in one round, you were groping, trying to hold on for dear life. Did you get worried at that stage?
Well, I didn't get worried, but I knew I was caught, So I tried, let me hold him, not to throw more punches, you see.
Defending your title and being in control is one thing, but the crowd, the home crowd, that was electric in the ring. How did you find that?
Yeah, well, it was very difficult for me to handle because the way they shouted, the time when I must really strike on the guy. So, but my trainer told me I must be cool and then fight the guy. That's all the way we trained.
What are your next plans, Dingaan?
Well, I'll leave everything to my handlers.
Dingaan, you're not thinking of a unification title fight?
Well, if it happens, then I'll be very happy.
Well, Dingaan, we say thank you very much. We congratulate you once more. We say congratulations. You are a great champion. And there you are, the champion, Dingaan Thobela, defending his title successfully for the second time, and this time here at home in South Africa, and back to Martin Locke.
Thank you, Dumila. Welcome, Incl, still with me. We're waiting for the challenger, the man who came all this way to fight. Looking at it from Antonio Rivera's side, how did you see it from his point of view?
Well, he didn't work that much as this record speaks. He didn't work that much. We didn't see the bombs that we were told about. That he's a bomber, he's a hard puncher. It's only that punch that caught him, and that I saw it was dangerous. All throughout the fight, he was on defense. He was not throwing punches. Even when he throws punches, he was not throwing them with the support of the body. The power. He was just throwing the punch, of which that helped us to retain the title.
Well, let's see how the champion feels. We've heard from Dingaan Thobela. Let's see what Antonio Rivera is. We'll join Dion LaRue with Antonio Rivera.
Ja, dat lijkt voor mij, ons is gereed. Lalo Medina is hier samen met ons. Lalo, could we have your first comments about the fight, please? What did you think?
Well, I tell the first day I came over here, this is going to be a war. This is going to be a good fight. The fans don't came to the stadium, lost a beautiful fight, but two great fighters like Toñito Rivera and Dingaan Thobela. I believe and I hope Dingaan, in some time in the future, they give another chance to Toñito to fight for the title. We are love to come over here to South Africa. We're very happy with everybody, and we like to give a thank you to Dingaan Thobela to give us the opportunity to fight with him.
Do you think Antonio had a chance of winning, or was Dingaan just that little bit too good from the start?
No, I know Toñito have a big chance to win, and he proved over there in the fight, in the third round and in the fifth round. So Toñito have the power punch. He put in bad condition Thobela twice, and Toñito have a big chance to win the fight. So the fight go to decision, and I see either with the judges, I see Thobela win the fight.
And if we have a look at the cut in the eye and also the eye that's very swollen, do you think that played a role in the fight?
No, because they don't lost blood in that cut. I take care of that cut in his eye. That don't make any difference for the work make Toñito over there in the ring.
Lalo, thank you very much. And also thank you for coming out to South Africa. It was a great pleasure in having a world title fight in our country again.
Thank you for all.
Thank you, and thank you very much. En daarmee gaan ons terug naar Martin Locke.
Thank you, Dion. And truly looking at Antonio Rivera and his whole attitude in the fight. He had a lovely disposition, a really nice guy. He just wasn't good enough to take the champion on the night. And so it's a tremendous return to boxing for South Africa, and what a great day
for South African boxing here in South Africa and across the other side of the world as well, where we have a new champion as well with Brian Mitchell. So we salute Brian Mitchell and Dingaan Thobela, who retained his title, perhaps not quite as convincingly. Certainly my card, I suppose you had one at home as well. Mine was 117, 113, but I wonder what yours was. A great night, a very, very emotional return. The crowd was unbelievable from the Standard Bank Arena. It's good night and well done to the two champions, Brian Mitchell and Dingaan Thobela.